What is up, BSG family? It is Sunday night, so I'm going to go ahead and do my Q&A video as promised. I have about 10 questions, and I will try to get through them relatively quickly, but this will probably be a decently long video. The first question is from Dawn RNY Radioactive. She says, alcohol, how much, how often, drink of choice, do I sound like I have a problem? Alcohol, yes, I do drink it. How much? I don't really put a limit on it if I've decided that I'm gonna drink. If I'm like, hey, I'm gonna drink tonight, I drink what I want to drink and I suffer the consequences thereof, which aren't that bad. Like my surgeon's office acted like I would have 4 sips of anything and be 3 sheets to the wind, and that is not the case at all. I really haven't even been that drunk since surgery, and I've drank, I don't know, like 5 or 6 times since surgery, so not that often, really not that often, or at least not compared to how often I drank before surgery. And my drink of choice would be wine or margaritas. I used to really like margaritas blended, but now I seem to prefer them over ice more, just because the frozen ones like fill me up really, really fast. But more than anything, I drink wine. I like sweet wines, Moscatos, sweet reds, Riesling, stuff like that. So, yep. And no, I don't think you have a problem. I was concerned about drinking after surgery as well. It's something that I like to do. And I'm 24 years old. Let's be real. I'm probably not gonna not have a drink of alcohol for the rest of my life. Could I, if I had to? Sure. But do I think that I absolutely have to stop drinking during my losing phase to see success? No, I don't. I don't make it as much of a habit as I used to. I do it within reason and I adjust my eating accordingly. So that's that. Next question is from James RNY Guy. He says, can we see that Hello Kitty shirt one more time? And what are you looking at during your videos? You can see that Hello Kitty shirt as often as you please because it is on video. But of course I wore it in this video for you too. So here you go. Hello Kitty shirt. Who knew you were such a big Hello Kitty fan, James? I had no idea. And I'm looking at myself doing my videos. Yep. When I read things to you guys, I put them over here. The viewfinder always pops up over here, and my camera's right there. And I have tried making videos where I just stare at the camera like this, but it freaks me out because I can see myself moving over here in the viewfinder, and I always want to like look, and then I end up looking back and forth, and I look like a tweaker. And I just look around when I talk. My eyes are always going everywhere. I don't know why, but that's what I do. So yeah. One Gorgeous Godzilla asks, what's the last book you read and what's your favorite color? My favorite color is purple, which is the color of my hair, but it always looks blue in my videos. But yeah, purple is my favorite color. And the last book I read, it's more like books, plural, because I have a bad habit of like sort of skipping around from book to book depending on what my mood is at the time that I want to read. But one book that I keep kind of going back to and reading randomly is Jack Ketchum's Peaceable Kingdom. It is a collection of short stories from Jack Ketchum. He's one of my favorite authors. He writes horror fiction books, I suppose would be the technical genre. I call it extreme fiction because to say that he writes scary books is like an understatement. He writes fucked up books. Like, seriously, if you think that Stephen King's books are weird, read a Jack Ketchum book. Stephen King actually said in an interview once that Jack Ketchum was the scariest man in America. So if Stephen King thinks that you're jacked in the head, I'm going to read your shit. I started reading him when I was like in the 9th or 10th grade, I think. Fell in love with his work. So, I think the first book that I ever read from him was The Girl Next Door, which is an exceedingly messed up book. But it's good. I don't know. I like that kind of stuff. So that's what I read the most of is kind of freaky fiction. Yeah. Another book that I recently finished was the second book in the Graveyard Queen series from Amanda Stevens. It's like ghost stories and stuff. Um, Kind of cute writing to me. Like, it's not near as dark as one might think. I don't know. She's a graveyard restorer in this series, and she can see ghosts and stuff. I don't know. It's really interesting. So, yep. I recently read the second book in that series. It was pretty good, so I'll probably read the last. And I recently reread most of Tim O'Brien's The Things They Carried. I love that book. It's quite possibly my favorite book. It's about the Vietnam War, and I am obsessed with the Vietnam War. I read this book in high school. It was a book that we had to read, and I fell in love with it, and I will randomly go back and reread certain chapters, and I had just been thinking about this one chapter in the book for a while, and I had lent the book to a friend, and she gave it back to me a few weeks ago, and I just had to go and reread that chapter because I couldn't quit thinking about it. But anyway, so those are my books for right now. I have a Kindle, so I read a lot. Next, TJ asks, if you suddenly start getting more compliments or attention from men than you did before you lost weight, how will this affect you? And will you attribute new experiences with people to the fact that you lost weight? Well, okay. We'll start with the first question. These are deep, man. Deep. If I get more compliments or attention from men, will I even notice? I am so oblivious to when people are flirting with me. It's sort of ridiculous. I think in our society it's so rare for people to genuinely just be polite to us that we mistake it for flirting. I do the exact opposite. I just think everyone's being nice. I'm like, oh, that person was really delightful. And I go on about my day. I sort of don't even know that people are hitting on me or something like that. So I don't know if it will affect me because I'm probably not even going to know that it's going on. So no, it'll probably have no effect on me. That's terrible. I'm bad at this. Will I attribute new experiences with people to the fact that I lost weight? I really hope not. I mean, are you asking, will I think I had a good experience with somebody just because I'm less heavy than I used to be? I really hope not. I hope I don't like hang everything on that. Maybe, though, I don't know, because that has been kind of an issue for me lately, is wondering if people are treating me a certain way, if they would have treated me the same when I was bigger or whatever. So I hope I can get past that. I hope I can get to a place where I am aware of my size, but in like a non-negative way, and I just feel like an average looking person, and my weight isn't really like an issue anymore one way or the other. So I hope to just kind of be less aware of all of that in the future when I somehow wrap my mind around what I actually look like versus what I think I look like. But I guess that's to be determined at this point. Next, Harry Draco Girl 1989 says, tell us Gremlin's origin story. Gremlin is one of my cats. He is the orange and white cat that you guys see in the videos a lot. And in my pictures, if you're on my Facebook, this cat is such a camera whore. He wants to be in like every single picture. So, yeah. I got him when he was a kitten, like teeny baby kitten. He was like 6 weeks old when I acquired him. We have another cat. Ooh, Gremlin just walked by. That's him. We have another cat as well. She's the smaller black and white cat that you guys see jump up here on the couch sometimes while I'm doing videos. That is actually Chad's cat. He moved her in when he moved in. And he's had her for a really long time. I think she's about 13, 12 or 13. And Gremlin is about 2. So we got him since Chad moved out here. I really wanted another kitten, and I finally talked him into it. Actually, I wanted to adopt an adult cat, but he was worried that that wouldn't be good for baby because she's really tiny and she doesn't really defend herself very well, and she's not really used to being around a ton of other animals. So we were afraid if we got a more dominant male adult cat that it might beat up on her or be mean to her. So we decided to get a kitten instead. Well, that kitten is Gremlin, and he got huge. He weighs 17 pounds now, you guys. It's ridiculous. But they get along pretty well. I think he annoys her because he wants to play and she doesn't really want to play. But I got him just like, I think a friend told me about somebody who had kittens. Their two cats had kittens or whatever. So he's half Macro Tabby, half Siamese. And I got him from some lady here in town in Las Vegas. And she sent us pictures of all the kittens that she had. And as soon as we saw Gremlin, we were like, that's the one. Like, how Chad and I feel about our cats is how people feel about human babies. I'm not even kidding. There's no difference when it comes to us. They're just as important. So as soon as we saw him in the pictures, we were like, this is the cat. This is the one that's for us. So I went and got him. He could like fit in my hands. He was so fucking adorable. I was in love with him immediately, and I brought him home, and I don't know, he just was he was the happiest, fuzziest thing on the face of the earth. And when he was like 17 weeks old, we got him fixed. It was time to get him fixed because I did not want him to start spraying on everything because we had a female cat in the house, even though she's fixed. I don't know. I didn't want him to get territorial on us. So we got him fixed. The vet said that he was old enough to be fixed and everything would be fine. He ended up not being fine. He couldn't get rid of the anesthesia and the pain meds in his system. This is a really long story that I'm going to briefly tell. So he ended up getting sick from his anesthesia and his pain meds, and he ended up going into renal failure. And the vet that performed his surgery dropped the ball on his aftercare. They basically brushed me off and did not help me at all. And I took him to a different vet because I seriously thought he was going to die. And he probably would have if I wouldn't have taken him to another vet. They did blood work. They were like, he is definitely in renal failure. And if I hadn't seen the cat prior to doing the blood work, I would tell you to say goodbye because his blood work is that bad. He should not even be conscious, but he was awake. He was talking to us, and everything. So they admitted him, and he ended up being in hospital for a week. And it was over my birthday that year. It wasn't this past January, but the January before that. He was in hospital for a week. We went up there twice a day, every day that he was there to visit him, and he slowly got better. And after a week in hospital, we were able to take him home, and he was good again, but he had like residual kidney damage from being in renal failure, so he will have to be on a special diet for the rest of his life, but that's okay. And oh my god, I was so distraught, so upset the whole time that he was sick. We didn't know if he was gonna make it, and it was so terrible. And I pretty much went to work and came home and cried. Like, I just cried and cried and cried for that whole week. I'm pretty sure that I like forgot to eat and shower for like 6 days. That's gross. But I was like that upset over it. It was horrible. I couldn't believe that this tiny, I mean, he was a baby. He was only like 17 weeks old. I was just like, we can't lose him. It's just ridiculous. And you know, he got better and everything was good, and you wouldn't even know he was ever sick now because he's enormous and he's crazy. But after that, he did have really bad separation anxiety. Like, if I was home, he pretty much had to be in physical contact with me. Even now, he does not like it when we leave. If you go to put on your shoes and stuff, he will bite your feet. He will stand in front of the door. He doesn't like to be left alone. So he's pretty needy for a cat, but that's okay because I love him. But yeah, that's Gremlin's story, kind of. So yeah, the next question is from Boobarella3000. She says, do you feel or fear some sort of identity loss if you are not going to be the fat girl anymore? I don't think so. I know there are some people here on YouTube that are struggling with that right now, and I don't think that I will. because I've never really let my weight define me entirely. Have I been conscious of it? Have I been very aware and sometimes uncomfortable with it? Sure. But I've never let it define me like I am the fat girl of the group. Have I felt that way? Yeah. But not all the time, if that makes sense. I never felt like I didn't have friends because I was fat. I never felt like I missed out on a relationship because of my weight or didn't get a job because of my weight. I've always been very outgoing and very social and whatever despite my weight. For the longest time I was perfectly fine with being overweight, and then my body decided it wasn't fine with being overweight, and that's how we got here. But I never hated myself for being fat. I've said that so many times in this journey, but I didn't. I never hated myself for being fat until being fat got me sick. And then I was like, what the fuck, body? But no, I don't think that I will have identity loss because I don't want to pin who I am solely on how I look. Is that a part of it? Sure. Is that it in its entirety? Absolutely not. So I think I know myself well enough to not to get lost in translation with that. But I guess again, to be determined. Who knows? Next, Mike VSG asks, what was one thing before weight loss surgery that you thought would be easy to do or deal with, but have found it to be much more difficult? Oh, my leg's asleep. I'm sitting on my foot. The mental aspect of this has definitely been more difficult than the physical. I've said that before. I thought changing my mental image of myself would be easier. I think I really felt like I would just be excited as the weight came off, and it's been more difficult than I thought it would be to wrap my head around looking different as quickly as I have. And also, like, the relationship aspect of this journey, I really thought that Chad and I really wouldn't have any problems. I thought we would just support each other and everything would be fine, but we're having a little bit of issues adjusting as of right now. He's just burned out. Like, I'm so obsessed still, like, with talking about food and getting my protein in and weighing my food and can I eat this? Should I eat that? And all I ever talk about is weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, yoga, weight loss. And I think he's just sort of burnt out on it all. And I have neglected pretty much everything else about my life except for this journey. And, there's other parts of life and he doesn't get to really do this with me entirely. Because, like I said before, it's such an insanely personal journey that I think he kind of is like, can we talk about something else? Can we do something non-weight loss related for one day? So, I don't know. I've been really selfish lately, and I need to kind of take a step back and reevaluate my priorities a little bit. I know this needs to be a priority. It does, but I also need to take it into account, like, how he is dealing or not dealing with everything that's going on, which I didn't think about. I really didn't until recently when he brought it up to me. So, so yeah, the mental image thing and the relationship aspect have just been more difficult than I thought they would be. And then I got 3 questions through private message, and since you guys sent me these through private message instead of commenting on something, I'm going to assume that you didn't want people to know that you asked me this, so I won't say your name. Do you keep your hair the way that you do to detract attention from your weight? I don't think so. I have had my hair like this for ages. I've pretty much, ever since junior high, I've had some form of weird color in my hair, and it's been all over purple for about 6 years now. So I do this because I like to do it, and like I said before, I'm a hairstylist, so it's just sort of what I do. I just like it. That's why I do it. People ask me all the time, why is your hair purple? What made you decide to do that? I like the color purple. I think it looks good on me. Do what I do. It's just my thing. Then somebody asked me, what are some taboo foods that you still eat? I try to be good. I try not to cheat. I don't want to self-sabotage. But I have admitted before that I do on occasion eat Jolly Ranchers, particularly the sour cherry ones. They are my favorite. I love sour food. That sounds gross. I like sour flavors, not soured food. That's gross. But yeah, the the sour cherry flavor of Jolly Ranchers are my favorite, and I do occasionally eat those. Next would be tortilla chips. Bad for you, okay? They're so evil. They're carby and salty, but I love them. And every once in a while, I will eat a couple of tortilla chips. My bad. And wine, like we talked about before. I still drink it. A lot of people choose not to drink during their losing phase, and that's fine. I choose not to drink very much during my losing phase. And I'm sure that is a little controversial with people, but that's okay. To each their own. And the last question that I received is, what is the tattoo on your arm of, and is it your only one? This tattoo on my arm is the biggest tattoo I have. Well, I don't know. I have them all the way up my spine. It might be bigger in a way. I don't know. But this Florentine design on the outside comes off of a jewelry box that my mom gave me. And I just think that kind of stuff is really pretty. So there's that. And then the inside of it, how can I show you this, is a key. That looks insane. But yeah, this is a key. I have been obsessed with keys and locks since I was a small child. I don't know why, but it's just something I've always been interested in, and I love negative space tattoos. So they did, the key is just like my skin color, and they did the shading around it to form the shape of it. So yep, that's a key, and then this is just like a curvy little design, and I have like a little shell or fan or whatever you want to call this thing over here. I love that part of the tattoo. This part has more shading than this part. This is still unfinished. I was gonna wait to do more shading until I was ready to move up the arm, but I don't want to put anything up here until after I lose all the weight I want to lose and potentially get plastics. So it's probably gonna be like this for a while, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. But no, it is not my only one. I have this one behind my ear. Can you guys see that? Just a little onk. It was my second tattoo ever. I have a little cat on my leg. Can you guys see this? Yep. Little Friday the 13th cat on my leg. And then I have writing up my spine that I'm not going to show you guys because I would have to undress, and that is not YouTube appropriate whatsoever at all. So but yeah, those are all my tattoos. I definitely want more. I actually want to cover up some of them on my back. Not so much that I regret them. I don't regret them. But I just found something that I love more. Like, I still like what I have, but I've come up with an idea that I love infinitely more than what I already have. So I want to cover them up eventually. But again, I'm going to wait till after I have plastics to do any of that. So yeah, that's my Q&A, you guys. I hope it wasn't terribly boring, mildly entertaining. But yeah, I will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a good week.